I'm Nina, and welcome to the first Design Your Own Sweater class. In this course, everyone is going to be knitting their own customizable, seamless, bottom-up sweater in the yarn of their choice. Today, we're going to do a few preliminary lessons where we talk about dreaming up your ideal sweater and selecting the yarn that's going to get you that sweater, which will all be enough to get you ready for swatching. And next week, our first lesson will be on swatching, measuring your gauge, and making your initial calculations. First, I have a few examples of seamless sweaters knit mostly from the bottom up to share with you, just to show what you can do with this form and what impressive results you can get from a truly simple pattern. The first is the one that I'm wearing, which is a plain old raglan, knit from the bottom up. Very little shaping is used on this sweater. There's just a little bit in the sleeves and a little around the waist. Primarily, I think the interest in this pattern comes from the unique stitch pattern at the collar and the cuffs. And this is something that would be really easy to design yourself. If you have a fancy stitch pattern that you really love, you can just pop it on the ends of each piece of your sweater, and the rest is just plain stockinette with a few strategically placed increases and decreases, which we will be discussing in later classes of the course. Here's another sweater, which is also an extremely simple raglan sleeved knit, but you can see that this one has a really sort of elegant and fancy appearance to it. This is in part because of the yarn that was used. This is one of our alpaca silk blends. And also the finishing. There's a turned hem at the ends of the sleeves, which gives a much cleaner finish than ribbing certain other stitch patterns. I shouldn't say much cleaner. It can give a cleaner finish. And then the shaping on this one is also very elegant. There's waist shaping, the sleeves flare at the cuffs, but at its base, the construction of this sweater and this sweater is exactly the same. So you would be able to execute something like this in this course as well. The next example is also a really simple sweater. Same exact construction as the two I just showed you, but this one has a few stripes added to it, which creates a totally different look, and it also has a different collar. We're going to be discussing, obviously, neck treatments later on in the course, but if this is something that you would like to do, if you're comfortable with stripes, then that is completely up to you, and the pattern that we design together is going to be completely suitable for any color work that you want to insert. Next I have our always popular classic lines cardigan. This is knit with double and triple strands of our lace weight yarn, so it creates a really nice light breathable fabric. It's knit in the round and then steeked, so it actually uses, again, exactly the same techniques as all of these other sweaters. Worked from the bottom up with a turned hem. There's slight waist shaping, raglan sleeves, and this interesting stripe pattern, turned hems, and that's it. At the end, you do have to steek it and make your button bands in order to make it a cardigan. We will be talking about modifications to this sweater pattern in the last phase of the course so that you can go on and take the information that we cover to do things like steeked cardigans as well as plain old pullovers. Here's another sample from one of our catalogs. Same exact construction. Are you getting surprised yet? You're not surprised at all. But of course this one has this beautiful color work pattern. So if you are proficient in color work or interested in exploring your own color work designs, you can absolutely use this course to knit a color work sweater like this one. You can see that this one actually has no shaping in the waist or in the arms. It's just a little cropped half sleeve sweater with these really great patterns on it. Again, knit after the same formula that we'll be using together in this course. And finally, if texture is your thing instead of color, you can also apply these techniques to a sweater knit in cables or moss stitch or any other all-over textured stitch, like ribbing. You can get some really fancy effects that look extremely advanced, but still all you're doing is knitting a sweater from the bottom up with raglan sleeves. Again, if you're comfortable with cables and ribbing, then you can definitely drop them right into this pattern and start working that way. But we will discuss later how to insert more advanced stitch patterns into this sweater. For now, if this is your first sweater, then I recommend making it fully stockinette stitch and just choosing some colors that you really love. Maybe doing some stripes, like this example, or maybe putting in just a basic textural element, like the welt up the front of this one. If it is your first time knitting a sweater, then I think that you'll definitely want to concentrate on the construction process and not allow yourself to get derailed by techniques that you might not be totally comfortable with. Of course, if you are totally comfortable with them, I can't do anything to stop you jumping in, and I definitely will not discourage you.